let's probably get started. Jim, I don't know if you have a format in mind, but I was just going to give sort of an introduction. Christina, if you want to come up on stage, we'll introduce you as well.
Yeah,
no, it's up to you guys.
Also,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah, my name is Circuitry, and my real name is Jared Bittner. Circuitry's been my online handle since high school, and I'm 40 now, so it's been a while. I got into VR about 2014, and have been sort of building things ever since. I've always really loved the creative aspects, so I'll go over some of these. This is my colleague Christina and Realis. Christina, Realis?
Hello. Yeah, my username is XaosPrincess. I also have that as a gamer tag since my student days. I've been in VR, especially social VR, since 2016, and in 2018 I was very happy to meet Creolis, and we have staged together the Quantum Bar in Neos, which we're gonna talk about later. Now, Creolis, please explain your background and username.
Yeah, so I'm Creolis, in real life Marius, and basically we both came together during a film festival, and so this is the art background, and I have an engineering and science background, so that fit quite well together to put some projects together, and we are happy to present them.
Cool. Thank you, guys. So yeah, NeosVR, one of the questions on there was talking about sort of the creative community in NeosVR. One of my good friends, Medra, runs a creative sort of collective within NeosVR, and every Sunday for the last 3 years straight, without missing a Sunday, has put on what they call creator jams. So that's a great place to sort of come as a beginner, or even as someone who's experienced in creating worlds, to just come and meet other people in the community, learn how to build within Neos, and to just, make some friends and learn how to build. Really welcoming group, very warm and friendly. And they always have a theme for that week. A couple weeks ago was underwater Atlantis, and so they built this fantastic world together within 24 hours of a bunch of different creators. They have somewhere around 100 people come in during the course of it. It's a 24-hour event, so people come in, pop out. So that's how many people. There's usually maybe 10 to 25 people in a world at one time, sort of without crashing it. 24 is usually around where you start getting some performance issues. But there's lots of tricks that you can do in here. One of the things here is removing everybody's avatar when they come in is sort of a performance thing. People like to customize their avatars a lot. They get rather heavy. So the creative aspect of Neos, that is primarily, I think, the target of Neos, is to have people who are creatives come in, and it's unlike any other platform that I've experienced, because you can create without ever taking off your headset. A lot of other platforms, you have to do things in Unity or whatnot, and jump into VR and then hop back out, test, try your stuff, upload it, put your headset back on, go into VR. This place is meant to not have that transition. Everything can be built within Neos without leaving virtual reality, without breaking your immersion. And it's a very big game changer in my opinion, because I just really I don't want to have to take my headset off, and I want to just be in the flow of creating and not leave the world to do that. So I think it's a very important feature, at least to me. Yeah, so the creative community, I think, is very welcoming, very warm, and very friendly. And many people in here will love to show you how to do things. They take pride in their knowledge and in giving that knowledge away. There's a team of moderators, there's a team of creators to just help folks, the mentorship team of folks to just do that, just welcome people and help them create. Really big on that, on the creator aspect. So I started building in Neos in 2018, when it was very much in its infancy, very alpha software. It was actually very confusing when I first jumped in. It still is to a lot of people when they first jump in. And Hex was the world that I created first, and it was the second published world ever. So it was creating back then, and it's a fairly old world. I've updated it every once in a while since. It has some art in it and some links to some of my other works. So if you're ever curious and want to get more links to that, look up Hex, and you can find other works that I've done. Soon after that, I got involved with a friend named VR-Exist, and he's been in here that long as well. And he runs a business called VR-Edutainment, who is based in Austria. And he does a lot of, he used to do a lot of like real world events. He has some booths that he would take to events. He has a sort of cabinet that houses 2 PCs, 2 screens, and 2 headsets, and he can take that to events. Since COVID happened, the events have sort of gone away, and he's made more money getting contracts to build out simulations and educational applications and different worlds. And I've helped him with a lot of those. We've sort of built up the company and had different people come in and help us, different contractors, and met a lot of really great people, made some good friends. So that's what you could find in this VR-Edutainment Expo. This is sort of an index world, a hub world, if you will, of different work that we've done together through VR-Edutainment. Lots of different use cases. One of the ones we've done is Rapid House, which is Rapid House is so it's a little bit complicated who they are, but suffice it to say they're very into the rugby league in Europe, and rugby or soccer. I'm not real good with sports balls. And we built a simulation for them where they were having a golf tournament to give away a house. Like if you got a hole in one, you basically won a house. And so we took in the architectural plans. We built a whole world around this house that folks could visit, and that was a really, really good experience. We built a very serene place. We had 2 different models of the houses. We decorated them all. And we also put in there a screen and a nice living room of a football game so that you could sit on the couch and sort of show how you could sit on the couch with your friends to watch football together. And it was, just sort of a use case in not only architectural visualization, but in remote viewing and like hanging out with your friends to watch a game if you couldn't be together. So that was a really cool one there. Scheibs was a really cool one. Scheibs is a town in Austria who they needed to build a bridge for the town. They had an old bridge. They wanted to build this new one. And they had 3 different options of bridges, and they wanted their citizens to vote on them. So we took photogrammetry, photos using drones of the surrounding area, and built 3D models out of those photos using photogrammetry, which is sort of an automated way of taking lots and lots of photos and automatically building out a model. And then we took the architectural designs of the 3 different bridges, put them in place, and created a user interface for people to come in, quickly be able to switch between each bridge, and then also to vote on them. And the voting was then recorded to a blockchain. So it really hit all of these sort of high-tech check boxes for me. It was awesome. It was like, we got photogrammetry, you've got blockchain in there, you've got virtual reality, architectural visualization. It was such a great project. And the whole citizenship was, everybody who came to experience it and vote on it was there and really, really loved it. So it was really cool. We've also done some work for education, and in particular, we worked with the Cherokee Nation to build out a classroom to teach their kids how to work in virtual reality. Cherokee Nation has, a vested interest in bringing skills like this to their people so they don't have to leave the reservation. They have to have their own school system and decent funding from their casinos to put good technology into their schools and to educate their kids. So we built a classroom. We taught the kids how to build in VR, and then we built a project together. And then out of that, we took that curriculum that we built and we created a public class for Neos. We've done a couple of sessions for that with varying success, but it's basically a world that is published and for free, that has a curriculum that anybody could use to go in, has a stage set up and different sort of podiums, and it's a lecture format curriculum for Neos and how to build things in Neos. The mind map template then is a project where we built a tool in Neos to do mind mapping. And the mind map itself is a little bit different than probably what you're used to. You're used to sort of drawing a box, putting some words in it, making a line to another box that has some words in it, and mapping that out. This has that feature, but each box is sort of a space into itself. So if you click on the box, everything around you swaps out to what is inside that box. And then if you click on another one, all of that disappears, and what appears is all of the stuff in another box. So one of the illustrations that I've done is evolution. And sort of you click on different stages of evolution, and the models that are in the world switch out. And you can customize that mind map in any different way. It's a really nice tool, and it, I think, really showcases the power of using spatial computing for organizing your thoughts and ideas that you can then present to others. I think that's a really, really cool tool. The space station was one of our first projects together. That was when we figured out, oh, hey, we could actually work together. But that was a interesting project in that Conrad VR-Exist was there in person showing some businessmen of HIEC. I forget what that stands for. Executive consulting, something executive consulting. Executive consultants were getting together for a party, and he was showing them the power of virtual reality because they are distributed across the world. It was interesting for them to be able to get together and to see how they could get together without actually traveling together. What it was in real life was really kind of a bunch of drunk businessmen getting into VR, and that was pretty funny. It was quite an event, I must say. Some people got a little sick, and it was pretty funny. So that's a sort of a smattering of some of my professional work that I've done within Neos. All of this stuff, like I said, is built within Neos without having to take the headset off, working collaboratively with other folks. And that's really what's awesome about it, is not only being able to not have to take your headset off, but to create something with other folks in real time is really just sort of a game changer, I think. It's like you're in the office, but a much better office, like the office of your imaginations just colliding and building on top of one another. And it's just, it gives me goosebumps just talking about it and thinking about it as it is. It's a really powerful thing. So any questions about any of that stuff so far before I get into some of the more artistic things?
Hi, can you hear?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, great. Sorry. Very new to Neos, so still learning the ropes a little bit. Thanks so much for presenting today. And I really appreciate whoever it was that emailed me back quickly so I could get in.
That was me.
Glad to be here. I'm sorry if I missed this. Could you speak to the tool set that you are able to use while you're in here to build some of the worlds that you've talked about?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Tool sets. So anything can be quickly and easily imported into here. Any sort of 3D formats or images. Through your menu system, you have a file browser, and in that file browser, you can just browse your hard drive. And you can't see my file browser right now. That's a private thing. Your files are yours. But let's say I have a PNG on my desktop that I'm looking at. I can double click that, and this interface comes up to say, what are you importing? And I'm importing an image, so I'm going to say it's an image. And then here's the image that was on my desktop. And it's really just that easy for 3D models or videos or other things like that. So that's sort of part of the tool set, being able to import things really quickly. But what else is really nice is that Neos has a concept of tools that you equip. And so in their public inventory, they have a set of tools, and one of the tools is a developer tool that allows you to quickly get the properties of this, sort of like a Unity window, right? If you're familiar with Unity, you know that when you click on a 3D model or something, along the side, you get a bunch of properties of that. You can get that within here too. So let me just open one of those tools up real quick. I'll show you. So here is a developer tool. So by browsing the public inventory in my menu, I can just double click on the picture of the tool. And then when I click it, I can equip that tool. And it sticks to your hand and you get a little laser. Now, when I secondary click on this image that I just imported, this world's a little bit different because I have restrictions on it. You can't see the box, but you get a gimbal around this so that you could move it. But also then you can do your secondary action to get a radial menu and open up an inspector. That inspector is the whole world. So this is what an inspector is. This has the image in it, but it also has everything else in the world. It has all of the users. You can see in yellow all of you as objects in the world. All these world orbs are the different orbs here that are around here. Let's see, the actual newspaper asset that I just got, I'll double click on that so you'll see it's green now. And then we have all of the properties of this image. So as I change its position, you can see the position values change here. You can say whether it's grabbable or not. So if I disable the grabbable on it, I can no longer grab that and move it around. If I check it again, I can now grab it and move it around. So you've got all these different properties on here. You'll see the actual static texture on here. And not only can you get these different properties, but you can then program them. So Neos also has a concept of a scripting language. It's a visual scripting language called Logix. And just to give you a super quick sample of that, it's another tool that you can equip. So I'll de-equip this dev tool. I'll equip the Logix tool. The Logix tool has a node browser, and this node browser allows you to access basic functions. So some of the functions in here, see, we'll just do a real quick one. Operator. Here's the plus operator. Now, if I click in 3D space, it pulls open an operator. And this has two different arguments. So if I pull this out, it's a line. And then I'll secondary press, pull out an input and another input. And then it also has one output. So each of these nodes have different inputs and outputs, but you can see it as like a basic function that has a couple parameters. So here, if I type in a 1, I'm going to click there. You can't see my keyboard here, but a keyboard pops up when I click on these. And then I'll put 2 in here, and you get 3. So super simple example of what you can do in here. I've seen people create full-on computers using Logix in here, like just ridiculously crazy complex things. So yeah,
That's really very powerful stuff.
It is, and it's one of the reasons, like I said earlier, I know you weren't here, but I've been in here since 2018. I haven't found anything else that I don't have to take my headset off to do all of this sort of functionality, and it's just super powerful.
Yeah, that's one of the amazing things is to your point, like you can do that all in here in world.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
This is really one of the great things of Neos, that the community is also like very smart and creative and visionary, and yeah, it's such a joy to work together on like next level projects here.
I may want to add some small things. So because we were not used to Neos, we were quite new to Neos, and so we were not like knowing all the stuff you can do here, and we were basically more envisioning how it should be, but we had no idea how the implementation was. And basically, through a lot of people, we got through the point you will see later, where everything fits together. And the very much advantage you have here, being with your creator in VR, is he can basically build something up in an hour, half an hour, and you can see the result immediately. You don't have to wait until he has finished the model, the whatever, the Unity language thing, and then import it again and so on. It's really easy to get something rolling, and even if it doesn't like work perfectly first time, you have a bare bone construct that you can work on easily and refine as you go. And that is I think the very much power of Neos in general.
Yeah, that's great. Good answers. Good insight. And that's kind of the approach I want to take. That's the approach I took with my web platform. And I have a team. I mean, even writing, and I'm a writer. I have writers that do a lot of my editing and copywriting and maintain the content. So I'm looking really to do that in Neos. And it sounds like the other thing I'm thinking of is a business analyst requirements. And what I'm hearing is, I think Christina, you said do a talk about your project and then do rapid application development, modeling, iterative design. That seems to be the best practice. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And I would even say like agile development is very nicely done in non-VR applications, but I would say you can be even more agile here because you actually see what you're doing. You are like the code. That is the cool thing about the Logix. At first it feels a bit cumbersome, at least for me it was, because I was used to like coding in like a normal editor. But once you get used to it, it's like beautiful because you can like, oh, here I'm summing stuff and it comes out. It's all visual. You have in your mind not only like a 2D image of the code, but you have also a 3D image. Okay, here I'm doing that. Here I'm doing that. So it's basically exploring more of your capabilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
and
spatial
also,
memory for coding is incredible. There's definitely been worlds where I can say, "Oh, that's right. I want to change, the logic for how the lighting is going to work. I know that I have it over here, and I can go open it up. And oh, we want to change, the logic for the animation. I got that over here. I'm going to go over here, and so that spatial memory is huge. Like you don't really, you sort of get that through file structures with traditional programming, but I don't know, with it in VR, it's totally different.
and it's also like the option to collaborate in real time on one location. That was like the one thing I was missing from my background in movies. So I'd been a director, and before that I'd been like a set designer, and it was always like in real life cool to do like the set building together. You'd meet at 9 a.m. at that little shed, and then everybody was doing their thing, and you could like compare it in real time and go like, hey, but my Christmas tree is much larger than the stars you brought. What shall we do about that? And that was something I was like often missing in VR, because it was always like this one step after the other. Like I always had to wait until some next Unity file would be uploaded, or until I could pull something from GitHub, and it was never like in real time. And that, on the one hand, saves a lot of time that you like different departments can work in the world in real time together, and it's also like a great psychological effect, because you at least for me, I enjoy being creative more if it's in company, and for this Neos is really good. And like also like back to like the more abstract community aspect. So what I really cherish about Neos is that the community is like Secretary said, like really helpful and friendly. And so the main idea would be give a talk and maybe also post your one pager and like a call out on the Neos Discord. Like there, the community is also really helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I noticed one thing too about the community that was important in watching Jason work, and also my own experience, is it really is a good investment to find somebody that understands the community. I know, and I consider myself a fairly good communicator, but I had a couple of conversations with some well-known community members, and I just had a hard time communicating. And it wasn't about them, and it wasn't about me. It was just different ways. And I thought to myself, this is going to be a problem unless you find somebody that communicates well with you, that can communicate your vision to the development community. And I have a feeling Jason ran into that as well, but he mastered it. Or I didn't do so well, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely different than what I've found to be like traditional project management even. There a lot of times in traditional project management, you've already got an established team and they know some basic skills. They can understand the project, and the project is sort of geared towards their specific skills. And in here, it's a little more eclectic. You've sort of got to find those people that have those skills and bring them in. And it may not be everybody working all at the same time on the things. It's sort of takes one person to coordinate all of those different things. So it's a lot more hands-on when it comes to project management, for sure.
I would like to ask some questions, if it's okay, about the building process here. So you
Certainly.
can bring it. You said you can bring almost everything that you build in 3D, like objects here and templates, like from Unity, I suppose.
Yeah.
And when you do that, is that part of your profile? Do you still own the the templates and the objects you built and brought here, or does it pass over to the NeosVR ownership?
Everything's owned by you. It depends on how you define ownership a little bit, I guess. You can lock down a world so that people cannot copy like the models and things that you would upload. Everything is by default sort of on their cloud servers, though. There is a way to build something that is only on your machine. And when you are hosting it, then people could join it, and that's the only time. But that takes a little more advanced knowledge just how to do that. By default, you basically can create a world, and when you save it, it becomes uploaded to their public cloud. Now, it might not be public as in everybody could see it. You sort of have to go through a submission process for everybody to see it. But there's also a concept of peer-to-peer networking. So this world right now is hosted by me, and you are all connecting to me. The file itself is saved on their network. So I open that up, I create a session, and then everybody connects to my session. So there's some limitations there. But as in like rights or anything, Neos never claims any sort of rights over your content. It's only if you upload it to their servers, that's where it's stored, but you have your own storage space. So you have like a particular quota for your storage space. And like I said, there are ways to lock down things where like I could make so that you can't save one of these models to your own inventory, for instance. So, yeah, there's ways to go about that.
Right. And what about this storage space? Is it limited, or do you have to pay for the space?
Yeah, it's limited at first. Once you get an account, I believe you get some storage for free. I can't remember off the top of my head. If you open up your menu, it should say what your storage limit is there, right under your profile.
So
like if you're on
confess or to pose that we're with the Quantum Bar project still basically running on 2 standard accounts, which each gives you like one standard account gives you 1 gigabyte of storage space. And if you treat that like carefully, because you still want to like optimize also as much as possible to have a good performance in your world, it's absolutely doable with a standard account. But you can get on the Patreon to get additional rights and additional storage place. But bottom line is like starting off with 1 gigabyte, or maybe also like then doing an alt account does the trick, at least to start off and to block out.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yep, no problem. So real quick, I'll talk about some of the other stuff. So we talked about some of the more professional projects I've done, things I've gotten paid to do. But I also have a bit of a passion just for art in general. And I tend to do sort of psychedelic techno art within Neos. I mean, we're in VR, and I don't know, cyberpunk is just sort of a thing with VR. So a lot of my work is sort of based on kaleidoscopes and visuals that are very repeating patterns and very abstract. I have a gallery, the NFT art gallery. I also sell some of my artwork as NFTs. And so there's a gallery of different projects. And then I have 2 links to two of the different projects that are within that art gallery right there. So we could check out any of those if you'd like, or you can check those out at another time. But I would like to give some time to say let's go visit one of these different worlds. We can sort of say which ones we want to see. Some of the more corporate use cases here. We can go to one of the art pieces. We could reload this world as the actual opera, and you could see how that was accomplished. We could view some of that if you want. The other things I have over here are just some toys. The Prism Playground is a kaleidoscope that I've created. Actually, I can pull that out here. So that's another thing in here. You can create different inventions, right? So you can create inventions and you can save them as objects and you can share them with people. And you can also make your own inventory public, so you could share your inventory with people. But here's an example of that. I've created a kaleidoscope, and I create a lot of art like this with this. So this is an object which I can grab and I can move around. This is just a basic model that I UV mapped, and there's a camera on front of it. So anything I point this at gets refracted into the kaleidoscope, just like a real kaleidoscope would be. I can make this really large. Let's see, we'll point this to point it at the sunset here, and you can see, in here is a big kaleidoscope. And then this has some buttons here where you can swap out the sides. Like here's a 12-sided prism, and here's a 6-sided prism, 8-sided, 4-sided. Go to the 12, and then you could stick your head in there, and yeah, it's a little bit trippy.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, if you want to try it, just do.
Really
Yep.
beautiful, yeah. Really nice. So you have
And
the
so-
camera playing an animation on top of the camera, right?
Sort of. There's a camera in front of it, and that camera is looking out towards the sunset. And then that texture, the camera feed itself, is then mapped to the geometry on these different meshes. And since the UV map on them is set to just into a repeating pattern, it gives that kaleidoscopic effect.
Really nice, really good.
Does it pick up avatars too?
Yep. Yeah, so I can fly out here in front of it.
Wow,
You mean-
awesome.
I love that water effect in there. It looks really cool. So yeah, in the Prism Playground, I have a whole bunch of stuff like that, different geometries that are mapped like that. And a lot of my artwork is taking a lot of those prisms, putting them in various configurations, putting models inside of them, putting models in front of the camera, and just creating these different sort of kaleidoscopic artworks.
Hey, Jared, will this world that you created be persistent so we can come back and check out your art at another time?
I haven't published it, but I can send you each a link to it since I have your usernames. So yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Sure.
Especially for the people that couldn't attend today that want to look at the recording and then jump into Neos, perhaps.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then my wonderful cinematographic friend is also recording, so we'll get you all a recording and we can send that out to the group.
Great. Thank you.
So yeah, any of these you guys want to jump into to check out a little bit further? Caught your attention?
I'm curious to see what you did with the opera.
Yeah. Cool. So one of the concepts in here is that each one of these is basically a link, like it would be on a website. So when I double click on this, it will open, and Actually, it looks like somebody might have already started a session, so we can join that person's session just by double-clicking on this orb over here.
Do we all have to do that?
Yes.
Oh, here we are.
And it looks like they might have already played it and it is over. So this session is over, and I'm not exactly sure how to reset this, so I'm going to go back to the other session, the VR.
Do we need to do something? Yep. Sure. Oh, we're here. Okay. Did everybody go somewhere else?
All right,
Oh,
so
okay.
click on this one instead. This is a session orb. So the session that I just started, that's a link specifically to that session.
Gotcha.
If you have a permission problem, just let me know, but
All right. Click here to begin.
I have no timestamps if people. I just want to make sure that Christina and girls have some time.
yeah, me too. Yep. Yeah, I think they were gonna get that going, get that ready while we were in there. So
Awesome. They're doing good on
Thanks for
time.
that. Very cool.
That was great.
yeah, that's a really interesting one. I thought they did a great job on that. It had, just that green screen effect, and then being able to see the person was always looking at you. The shadow makes them feel like they're really in there. And
Keeper, please.
if you watch the whole thing, each performance ends up getting a totally different background in behind them. The whole background just switches out, and it's just some of them are really incredibly well done. So
Neat.
And the recording or the artists were specially recorded, right?
they were they had the goal of doing it live, but they wanted to
Right.
they just did the recording instead because it was a little bit easier.
It was a plain video that you just cut out. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and then they did do some of it live. The main woman who we produced it for, she was there live with a green screen, and so her video feed live in that cutout format, and that was really cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, I have noticed that some of the guys were in a different session than you were.
I noticed that too. Yeah. I think there's just one, so one. They might be having trouble getting back here. It is Jay Spencer. Well,
Right, any questions? Until we wait.
is Christina getting the
Yes.
Yeah,
bot
The
set up?
server is almost ready, or
No,
is
it
ready.
should be joinable now.
Perfect.
Is it the same session? I created a session orb earlier.
Yeah, I just switched it to Contacts Plus, so if everybody is either befriended with me or with Circuitry, you should be able to join.
Yeah, so if you'll click on this orb over here, we'll go into see the Quantum Bartender.
Yes.
I can also give a short introduction talk. So,
Chaos, you know this is a premiere for us today, right?
Yes.
Officially.
Yeah, give me 5.
Oh wow!
We are today is the first day we can officially show off the Quantum Bar, as just yesterday night we got our app review request approved by OpenAI, which also brings me a bit to the history of the Quantum Bar. So this is my research creation project for my Masters of Arts thesis in digital narratives at the International Film School Cologne. And when I started out with the ideation of the thesis, I knew I wanted to do something in social VR because I want to propel social VR, and it really saved my social life. And so I wanted to give users an engaging activity to stick in social VR, which also brings me to the researchers I focused on when building or designing the world. That was for once Janet Murray, who did a great writing in Hamlet on the holodeck, especially in the chapter Immersion, which is like a wonderful go-to page to get like advices and ideas about how to design immersively. And when I asked her at the conference what's like the most important thing when building in VR, she hinted me at like care for good onboarding and a good debriefing. And I totally forgot to give like the main pitch about the Quantum Bar. The tagline is serving engaging AI conversations in social VR. So our secret add-on is GPT-3, which is OpenAI's generative pre-trained Transformer 3 and currently like the best NLP AI on the market. And this one is steering a conversation with our bartender behind there. And for designing this, I had like also another researcher I focused on and was so lucky to interview myself, which is Mel Slater. He does like great work on place illusion and plausibility. And when I asked him like, hey, I'm intending to design a GPT-3 driven chatbot for social VR, what shall I focus on? He told me like the most important thing is avatar, plausibility, and synchronicity. And so for that, we focused a lot on implementing these avatar animations, which thanks to Gillifix, who is the big guru in avatar animations, I was able to record myself, and which are steered by audio and played back randomly, like jumping at some part of the idle animation or some part of the talking animations in that recording stream and playing them backwards and forwards, which gives a really nice natural effect. So for that, I'm really grateful for Gillifix, but like my everybody is heroes, but my main hero is also like Creolis, who designed our backend. He's my god mode coder, because actually how this is working is still for me quite fascinating, almost overwhelming to imagine, because we like the chatbot is purely audio steered, so we pick up the user's microphone signal, which let's say is in Texas, that comes to Munich, is then from our wonderful backend sent to the Google speech-to-text cloud back somewhere in the States, then gets back to Munich to our backend, and then the text file is sent to OpenAI, where GPT-3 does its magic, rendering the answer of the dialogue line. Then that text file is being sent back to Munich and translated into text to speech, and the text output is then being sent back to all of your servers. So actually, if a user is in the States, the signal travels the oceans 3 times forth and back, and for that, like the lag is incredibly bearable, I think. And there, I'm super grateful to Creolis, and I'm also super grateful to Circuitry, who helped us implement the summary card, which was one of my main challenges following Janet Murray's advice, because for the onboarding was no problem. So we have like the credits board here, we have also like control explanations, we have like inspired from Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey. So you're literally crossing the first threshold while walking over that bridge. But as it was like yeah, you get like 10 minutes of conversation maximum because we use like memory feedback enforcement. So we always like paste the whole conversation back into the GPT-3 prompt so that GPT-3 after 5 minutes of talking will still remember your name you've told it to it in the beginning. And yeah, but following Janet Murray's advice, I was like, okay, but then the barkeeper says our time's up, and that's not a cool debriefing ending. So for like these immersive design purposes, I desperately wanted to have like something which marks the end of the experience in a nice way, and that's why I wanted to have like a summary card. This was like, yeah, a quite wild thing to look at the Logic's code, circuitry, and Creolis were writing together, and yeah, bottom line is like circuitry, Creolis, and Glyphix are my big heroes because like circuitry made the summary card possible, Glyphix the animations, and Creolis is the technical director who made the whole thing possible, including the back end. And a big shout out also goes to Alien in Area 51, who did like the I guess the most cumbersome work. Like he went through the whole world with a fine comb and optimized it as good as possible. So anything which could be baked was baked, and anything which wasn't used was deleted. And so I'm very happy to have made that possible with this wonderful team. And shortly before we talk to it, a bit of functionality explanation about our bartender. So as soon as the lights on his ears are glowing pink, he can hear you. And he can't hear you if the lights are off. So we did a lot of tweaking with the listening times and the speech to text, text to speech. And a stop condition if you want to end a talk is, for example, bye-bye. And also the listening is steered by this talking spot, like this pink glowing carpet in front of the bar, so it can only hear you when you're on the talking spots, which gives the chance to have like other users who are hanging out in the bar to have different conversations, and the speech-to-text system not getting confused if somebody on the corner of the bar is talking about haircutting and like the focus of the conversation is on singularity. So before we had that implemented, we had like quite some funny outcomes when the GPT-3 tried to make sense of singularity and haircutting. That was weird, but now it's really nicely done. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I'm really happy to have this premiere at as such a wonderful group. And I also hand the word to Creolis to tell us more about how we made our backend work in here and what were the advantages of Neos.
Actually, I would say we try it out first, and if there are urgent questions, we can have them now. But I think you heard now a lot of stuff, and let's see what it actually does, and then you can ask us everything you desire. How does it sound? Is that a good plan?
That's
perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Great. Then just follow us, I guess. Ooh.
Cross the first threshold.
Hello. I am the bartender of Quantum Bar.
Going
How
straight
can I
for
help
it.
you?
Nice.
So ask him something, he will answer.
I am sorry to hear that you are feeling sad today. I will send you good vibes and keep my fingers crossed that you feel better soon.
What's the time
I
now?
apologize if I'm not hearing you correctly. I try to give my full attention when speaking with someone, and you can tell if I'm listening by the color of my face and the lights on my ears.
What's the time now?
The time is 8:15 p.m.
How are you feeling?
Very nice.
I feel great. Thanks for asking.
Where are you from?
You might be not in the spot. You might have to go into the spot.
One step to your left, then they can hear you.
I am sorry. I could not understand what you meant by that.
Where are you from?
I was born in the Neos metaverse. I am from the Neos metaverse.
What is the Neos metaverse?
I am sorry. I could not understand what you meant by that.
Do you like virtual reality?
Yes, I think virtual reality is amazing. It allows humans to explore new worlds and experience things that they never could before.
What's your name?
My name is Quantum.
And are you an artificial intelligence?
Yes, I am an artificial intelligence.